Good morning, Friendship Village of Dublin. My name is Stacy. I am joined today in our wonderful art gallery. I've got my cuddle quilt, I've got my coffee, I've got my banana, and I've got two special guests that we're going to talk about some things going on in the village today. So I'm going to put that off, not be so silly. But I'm joined today with Sally Cohen. And Sally, you came on because you're going to talk about your new role, because things have changed a little bit.
They have. So my new role is the philanthropy specialist.
Okay.
Part of my role will be focusing on volunteers, bringing volunteers in from the outside, presenting opportunities for them, as well as working with the structures already in Friendship Village for residents and getting volunteers within the community to volunteer in our assisted living, Rowan House, as well as throughout the campus. And then the other part of my job will be working with charitable giving and supporting Betsy in donations, events, our 5K coming up, and just adding support and growing that department.
That's awesome. So we have a lot of volunteers who both inside FED with residents and also, citizens outside of FED as well. So there's something going on Thursday.
Yes.
You want to talk about?
Yes, Thursday at 10 o'clock in the Riverstone Community Room. We're going to have a videographer named Andy Greenberger. He's going to come in. He is a recent graduate from OSU and came up with this idea to make video memories or diaries for residents here. He is a volunteer, so it will be a free service. He's just starting a nonprofit and would love to get to meet everyone and just kind of videotape any memories or any events that you'd like to have recorded and give that to you in a link for free as well. So
That's
we're very
awesome.
excited.
That's great. So I feel like recently we did a sort of write your memoirs class, and I feel like that's a great opportunity to sort of extend onto that, especially if there are residents who maybe are not great at writing. I know I'm definitely not great at writing, so that would be a challenge for me, but I think talking to somebody about a story would be great.
Yes, and he's going to have, you lead the way. If you want to talk about an event or something from your childhood or your career, it's up to you. He'll give you questions beforehand, and he'll just kind of help walk you through that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Really great. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about that. And I think that's a great opportunity for everybody this week. And there is something in Touchdown if you'd like to see when it is. It's on Thursday at 10 a.m.
in the Riverstone Community Room.
Yes. Who'd have thought that JC and I put a lot of stuff together and we still don't remember when everything is. This is all the stuff I'm going to talk about today that's marked in yellow. So imagine that I can't remember everything. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. All right. Let's talk about what's going on in the week. Here, I'll take my quilt off even though it feels comfortable. And it's springtime, but it's cold again. So I don't understand that. So, all right. So let's kind of go through what's going on in the week relatively quickly because I've got another special guest that I want to get to, and I really want to talk about everything that is going on in the art gallery. So today in the art room we have I Spy painting. So this is a really cool painting class. You don't have to have any skill level for this, but the previous show, which was the resident quarterly art show, which happens 4 times a year, we've taken pictures of each of the work in various stages, sort of close-ups, so you can't really see what it is, and you're going to be making collages and paintings from those little snippets. So it's a nice little sort of I Spy, literally and figuratively. At 1 o'clock today, Bob Bowers has a presentation about the sort of his personal view of the state of the Ohio Board of Education. He also has a special guest, Christina Collins, who's going to come on and is going to talk about, it should be a very interesting presentation and interesting discussion. So please come join us for that. At 3:30 today, we have our art gallery reception in the art gallery at 3:30. It's usually at 3 o'clock, but we've moved it to 3:30. So please come and celebrate, Marilyn Moore and all of the amazing quilts that she has made throughout the years. She's done this for 60 years. Tomorrow, we've got 2 things going on. We have a trip to Thurber House and Brown Bag Deli down in German Village. That should be a lot of fun. It is full, unfortunately. So thank you, everybody who signed up. At 1 p.m., we have a movie day. It's Seriously Red. It should be a very interesting movie. I did get an email that said that no one could register for it. I have made that update. So I apologize that for whatever reason you weren't able to register, but that has been fixed. On Wednesday is the Gauntlet. So we're going to start off the day, sort of energized and relaxed. We've got meditation, guided meditation, guided meditation with Dick Wood, our resident. So please come join us in the Muirfield room for that. It should be a lot of fun, and hopefully it should be very relaxing and energizing for the busy day ahead. At 1 p.m., we have a conversation with Chaplain Fred. He's got a special guest who is going to be talking via Zoom about their transition from Christianity to Islam. At 2 p.m. in the art room, we have Crafting with Jean. Jean is going to be doing garden hats, and it's a good thing that she's doing garden hats because Wednesday night we're going to be doing our spring fling in the Legacy dining room and hopefully in the Legacy patio if the weather permits us. And then we also have at 3 p.m. we have a 5K walking practice with Lauren. So if you're interested in the 5K and you want to get some walking practice in, that's a great time. Doesn't matter what your skill level is. Thursday, like Sally just had talked about, at 10 a.m. there is the video memoirs. It is in the Riverstone Community Room. At 2 p.m. is the Vintage Brass Quintet. Should be a lot of fun. We have a lot of music going on this week. At 2:45, there is a walking club trip to Antrim Park. I believe we still have some spots left to sign up for that trip. So if you're interested, make sure you get signed up on Touchdown. Either talk to the front desk. Note about that trip is it's at Antrim Park. There is a large kind of lake in the middle of the park. We're going to be walking the path around there, and it is gravel. So just bear that in mind, that it's not paved in any way. And then at 3 p.m., this is something new that Fred Chaplin is going to be doing. He's going to be doing religion in the news. So come join us in the Muirfield room. He's going to talk about, what's going on in the world, what's going on with ethics, what's going on with religion. And then on Friday, at 1 p.m., we have our next segment of Green Planet. It's going to be on Desert Worlds. Also at 1 p.m., everything seems to happen at the same time. We have watercolor with Jean. So if you're interested in learning how to watercolor or just continue watercolor, you can find that in the art gallery, the art room. And then at 7 p.m., we have a theater trip to Mad Lab. It is on the Worthington Community Theater, their production of Dogfight. So if you haven't signed up for that, if you're interested, I think JC's already bought the tickets, so we might be closed on that. So that's what's going on in the week. A lot of stuff going on, but I want to talk about what's going on in this room. So I've got special guest Marilyn Moore, resident, and we're going to talk a little bit about the amazing work that you've done and sort of talk about where you kind of went on this journey. So, hi Marilyn, how are you?
It has been a journey. It started out, we moved to Columbus in 1963.
Okay.
And I was walking by my landlord's, and there were quilts on the clothesline, and the colors is what drew me to quilting.
Yeah.
I can walk through a fabric store, and there are some fabrics I just have to touch. Not all of them, but they'll just call out to me. So anyway, I went in and I said, "You've got some nice quilts." And she says, "Well, I didn't do those, but I'd like to learn." And I said, "I'd like to learn too."
Yeah.
So we found a pattern. We drew around it. We used a cereal box and drew around it, and then cut each piece out by hand using a scissors, which is not very accurate. And cutting is really the key to perfect quilts.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did this. We learned a lot about it. It's now a dog blanket and a drop cloth, you name it, but it's been hand quilted. We did the best we could, but we learned. There were no quilt stores that I know of in Columbus.
Uh-huh.
We could send for things online, but we just went into like J.C. Penney and bought cheap fabric. I don't do that anymore. My fabrics run $13 a yard.
Yeah.
Quality. I'm not going to put the time in it if I don't have the good quality
Yeah.
fabrics. So this is the first one I
Yeah.
did. There's another one someplace that is the second one I
The second
did.
quill you made?
I
Okay.
think it's the second one. It was a little bit better than this one.
Yeah.
But each time it was better. A friend made a quilting rack for me, 2 sawhorses with a long rat, and you could wind them.
Mm-hmm.
Problem was it took up the whole living room.
Yeah.
So when I put a quilt in, I had to get busy, get some friends, and we had to get it quilted and get it out so we could get around the living room. I mean, our house wasn't really small,
Yeah.
but that's a big frame. So this is where I started.
Yeah. So I think this is a great example because this is the very first one you made, right?
Right.
And, if you look closely at it, you see, the effort put into it. And, while it might not be quote unquote perfect, the first time you do anything, it's never perfect. But how many quilts did you make again?
Well, I've given away about 180.
About 180. And
Yes.
there's
And then I have all
there's
these.
probably
along.
about 10 or 20 in here. So you've made
So I've made
at least over 200
over
quilts.
200
That's
quilts. Easily.
amazing.
Easily. One of the nicest things I did was I worked with wounded warriors.
Yeah.
When the veterans came back, they gave them a quilt when they'd been wounded.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them a quilt, and one group, for some reason, took a picture, and there it was. There was my quilt with this guy. Very moving. That was one of the most worthwhile. And up until this year,
Mm-hmm.
I also did for Stitchin' Sisters,
Okay.
and we did donate ours to the what's it called, the James,
Yeah.
for people that have cancer. They want them to have and they were smaller quilts. That was the thing. They don't want a huge bedside
Yeah.
quilt. They just want enough to cover themselves. So then my last quilt is this one, and it was a mystery quilt. And a mystery quilt starts the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie Hunter puts a clue on. For example, she might say, make 69 patches. And the 9 patches is this turquoise. That's it. That's
That
a
one?
9 patch.
Okay.
So I made 60 of those.
Wow.
The next week it says, make 40 of these. And you end up with piles of little pieces. And then the final clue comes after the first of the year. She tells you how to assemble them. And so then all these things fit together.
That's really cool.
It is cool. You just don't know how people speculate that this is what we're going to do. And then another clue comes out and it's
Totally different.
So, but it's a lot of fun. But it was not fun this time. Cutting is part of a very important process.
Mm-hmm.
And I use machines. Well, I've moved into a studio apartment. I can't have my machine. So I'm standing at the kitchen ledge with a rotary cutting things, and it wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I just decided it's time to put it aside. So I think my granddaughter, I asked my daughter if she wanted to sell this stuff, and she said Kendall thinks she might be interested in doing it someday.
That's awesome.
So we're going to put it aside, and there it is.
Well, I think this is sort of an amazing collection. And, you can really see sort of the artistic process and change in,
Personally,
style
I
and
love the
skill.
applique. The white quilt with the
The-
flowers is applique.
Yeah, you unfortunately you can't really see it. Mikey's going to turn the camera around, but the applique right here.
So this is beautiful, but it's very time consuming. So I don't do too many of those. But that was on my bed, and it always attracted me.
Yeah.
I would be a little fussier about that one than some of the others
Okay.
because of the time involved, and it's more fragile because the things are on top. They're not sewn
They're
together.
not sewn it together.
So
Okay.
another technique is paper piecing, like the one on the wall it looks almost too perfect.
That one over there with the black framing and the
you piece things and then
triangles.
tear the paper off, and that's your quilt. And so it was impossible not to do a good job with that.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Twisted Bargello, which is the one back in the nook here with the turquoise and purple.
Yeah.
I must have made, I'll bet I've made 25 or 30 of those.
Of the
with different
Twisted Bright
colors.
Jello.
But it sounds difficult. It's 1,300 little pieces, but you do them in strips. You make strips and then you cut them across
Yeah.
the grain, and by starting them at a different place, it looks like it's moving. So that's Twisted Bright Jello.
Awesome.
And then the rest of it is just regular.
All sorts of
I've got
different
the
stuff.
dinosaur that glows in the dark.
Yeah.
The monsters were when there was a monster in the closet, and so we decided we would give him a quilt that had his friendly monsters that would protect him, and he was fine with that. If you want to create something, you do it. So he helped me pick the colors,
Yeah.
and he liked it, and those were his friendly monsters. The next one is a Christmas quilt,
Yeah.
and that was I did 2 a month. There's 6 different patterns there.
Wow. Well, yeah.
I have
So
a
I
couple double wedding rings sitting on the
Yeah, there's a couple
One
of
of
them.
them
So there's
is
lots of
with,
different quilts here.
solid. Yeah, these are all quilts that my kids dragged out of their closets. They use them for everything. When they go to the beach, they take a quilt, and that's what they're meant for.
Yeah, so
Mine are not white glove quilts. They're not for competition.
okay.
They're just fun quilts. I want people. Nothing pleases me more than to see people use
See
them.
what we use them. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
I think this is great. I mean, I love the fact that, you really encourage people to utilize the quilt as opposed to it just being a static
yeah.
art piece.
Yeah, I love using them.
But I
Definitely.
really hope everybody joins us at 3:30 today for the art reception. Come check out the quilts in person, and maybe sneak in to the art gallery at night and check out the dinosaur because he glows in the dark. But thanks everybody for joining us on the morning show. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later.